The Mariana Trench or Marianas Trench is located in the western Pacific Ocean about 200 kilometers east of the Mariana Islands. It is the deepest oceanic trench on Earth. It is crescent-shaped and measures about 550 kilometers in length and 69 kilometers in width. The maximum known depth is 10,984 meters at the southern end of a small slot-shaped valley in its floor known as the Challenger Deep. However, some unrepeated measurements place the deepest portion at 11,034 meters. If Mount Everest were placed into the trench, at this point, its peak would still be underwater by more than 2 kilometers. At the bottom of the trench, the water column above exerts a pressure of 1,086 bars, more than 1,071 times the standard atmospheric pressure at sea level. At this pressure, the density of water is increased by 4.96%. The temperature at the bottom is 1 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius. In 2009, the Marianas Trench was established as a U.S. national monument. Monothalamia have been found in the trench by Scripps Institution of Oceanography researchers at a record depth of 10.6 kilometers below the sea surface. Data has also suggested that microbial life forms thrive within the trench. The Mariana Trench is part of the Isu-Bonin-Mariana subduction system that forms the boundary between two tectonic plates. In this system, the western edge of one plate, the Pacific Plate, is subducted beneath the smaller Mariana Plate that lies to the west. Crustal material at the western edge of the Pacific Plate is some of the oldest oceanic crust on Earth, and is, therefore, cooler and denser, hence its great height difference relative to the higher-riding Mariana Plate. The deepest area at the plate boundary is the Mariana Trench proper. The movement of the Pacific and Mariana Plates is also indirectly responsible for the formation of the Mariana Islands. These volcanic islands are caused by flux melting of the upper mantle due to the release of water that is trapped in minerals of the subducted portion of the Pacific Plate. The trench was first sounded during the Challenger expedition in 1875 using a weighted rope, which recorded a depth of 4,475 fathoms. In 1877, a map was published called Tiefenkarte des Großen Ozeans by Petermann, which showed a Challenger Tief at the location of that sounding. In 1899, USS Nero, a converted collier, recorded a depth of 5,269 fathoms. In 1951, Challenger surveyed the trench using echo sounding, a much more precise and vastly easier way to measure depth than the sounding equipment and drag lines used in the original expedition. During this survey, the deepest part of the trench was recorded when the Challenger measured a depth of 5,960 fathoms at 11,919 feet 140 feet, known as the Challenger Deep. In 1957, the Soviet vessel Vichaz reported a depth of 11,034 meters at a location dubbed the Mariana Hollow. In 1962, the surface ship MV Spencer F. Baird recorded a maximum depth of 10,915 meters using precision depth gauges. The Bathyscaphe Trieste, the first manned vehicle to reach the bottom of the Mariana Trench. 4 manned descents and 3 unmanned descents have been achieved. The first was the manned descent by Swiss-designed, Italian-built, United States Navy-owned Bathyscaphe Trieste, which reached the bottom at 1:06 p.m. on the 23rd of January 1960, with Don Walsh and Jacques Piccard on board. Iron shot was used for ballast, with gasoline for buoyancy. The onboard systems indicated a depth of 11,521 meters, but this was later revised to 10,916 meters. The depth was estimated from a conversion of pressure measured and calculations based on the water density from sea surface to seabed. The expedition conducted in 1960 claimed to have observed, with great surprise because of the high pressure, large creatures living at the bottom, such as a flatfish about 30 centimeters long, and shrimp. According to Piccard, the bottom appeared light and clear, a waste of firm diatomaceous ooze. Many marine biologists are now skeptical of the supposed sighting of the flatfish, and it is suggested that the creature may instead have been a sea cucumber. During the second expedition, the unmanned vehicle Keiko collected mud samples from the seabed. Tiny organisms were found to be living in those samples. Among many other living organisms, some gigantic single-celled amoebas with a size of more than 10 centimeters, belonging to the class of Monothalamia, were observed. Monothalamia are noteworthy for their size, their extreme abundance on the seafloor, and their role as hosts for a variety of organisms. In December 2014, a new species of snailfish was discovered at a depth of 145 meters. During the 2014 expedition, several new species were filmed, including huge amphipods known as supergiants. Deep-sea gigantism is the process where species grow larger than their shallow water relatives.